Hi, everybody. Kevin Harden here, Director, Mortgage Mediation Group here at Thompson Law in Phoenix, Arizona. What I want to talk to you about today is strategic default. We hear about that all the time, and I think too many people just don't understand what strategic default really means. So, number one, let's talk about the fact that a strategic default is not walking away. Look, no one is going to just merely call their lender up and say, here's my keys and mail your keys back. I mean, when you understand that in Arizona, the average time that a homeowner is in a home from the first missed payment to actual foreclosure is 14 months. Think about the dollars that are coming into play. Think about all of those months of payments that can go to assist your family, pay moving costs, etc. So does it make sense to walk away? No. But it may in fact make sense that frankly, I can afford this home, I'm just not going to pay anymore, and you stay in that home until that exit occurs. Number two, what we need to talk about, and it's always, everybody fires this off, that somehow, oh, you're not paying your mortgage, so you're immoral, okay? And so instantly we have the morality police that are telling you that strategic part is immoral. Well, let me ask you a question, okay? You have a family, you have children, you've bought this house, and you've done everything you can to take care of your family. So now, someone's going to tell you that somehow it's immoral that you're not going to pay the bank. Don't you have a greater commitment? Don't you have a greater morality to your own wife and children, husband, etc., to take care of them than you do a bank? Bottom line, I would think you would find it even a greater immorality to somehow tell your child, I'm sorry, you're not going to go to college now. I'm not going to be able to buy you that car. No, dear, you can't buy that dress, those clothes, etc. Because you know what? I owe the bank, okay? So bottom line, it's not immoral. You've got to make a decision. When you close a mortgage, here in Arizona, you took out a deed of trust, a contract. That contract said if you pay, you get the rights and the quiet enjoyment of this property. If you don't, then me, the lender, I reserve the right to take the property back. So I'm telling you, comply with your contract, elect option B. Okay, Mr. Lender, when I took out the contract, you already agreed you take the property back, so here you go. And comply with the contract and feel like you're sticking within the deal. 3, fraud. Comes out way too often, guys, is somehow that you failing to pay that mortgage and instead going out and getting a different property of which you can afford, which is more appropriate in its value, that isn't upside down by double the amount that you owe, that somehow that's fraud. And let's be clear, it's not fraud. If you look at your old loan, nowhere in that loan are you making any representation that I'll never own another home again. Nowhere are you making a commitment, I will never be in a position where I can't afford it. Otherwise, why would there be clauses in the deed of trust that would allow the lender to foreclose in the first place? You need to elect what's best for your family. Now, where can the potential fraud happen? Don't tell your new lender that your old home's going to be a rental if you're not going to rent it. So be truthful and honest on what you're doing, but at the end of the day, make good decisions for your family. So again, let's talk about, well, what's going to happen to me in foreclosure, okay? I am going to go to foreclosure. What is the process? Okay, A, there's no such thing as a 6-month timeline, 3-month timeline. Arizona foreclosure law is very clear. A lender, in order to start a foreclosure process, must first send you a breach and default letter that says you have 30 days in which to pay this mortgage up or we reserve the right to foreclose. So that little nastygram you got that said, hey, deadbeat, you aren't paying. You got 30 days or we're going to foreclose. Remember, that's their pressure point to get you moving forward. Did that happen within 30 days of missing the first payment? No. Did it happen within 60 days? Maybe. But your deed of trust said that they can't give you that letter until you are at least 60 days in default. So the average homeowner is going to be anywhere from 3-4 months before that letter comes. Now, when that letter comes, you know you've got a minimum of 5 months, and this is how it's going to work. At the end of that 30-day period, it'll be on the 16th of the month, because remember, you got 15 days in your grace period. So at the end of that 30-day period, in that grace period, you didn't make your payment. Now they've got to start paperwork. You can imagine it's going to take them a little time to get that put together, and then they have the right, but not the obligation, to foreclose by doing what? Issuing you a notice of sale. Every home is a non-judicial foreclosure within real estate, okay, and residential real estate. And that means that they're going to grant you now another 90 days to redeem the property. It is only on the 91st day after that the earliest they can foreclose. So keep in mind, if they went strictly to the calendar, that would be 30 days in the breach and default, another 90 days in the redemption before the trustee sale happens. That's 4 months alone on top of 2 to 3 months, and that's if they're breaking records. And as I told you, the average time is about 14 months. But no one is going to show up and knock on your door, get out at 3 o'clock in the morning, okay, guys? The trustee sale is going to occur at that point. Let's say that's month 7th, 8th, 9th month. And you say, well, now I've got to get out of the home. No, you don't. The moment that trustee sale occurred, you're now an occupant of the home. You're not the homeowner, but you're the occupant. You have rights of occupancy in that home until they actually evict you. And so putting a piece of paper on your door that says you've got 5 days to leave has no bearing. There's no legal weight until they go to court and file for forcible entry detainer, and you get served at your door that you're being sued for eviction, and you appear at a hearing, and the court then issues a writ of eviction, and then that goes to a constable or sheriff's department to deliver it. Guys, that period can take anywhere from 30 to 60 more days. So bottom line, when you make a good decision to leave your home, understand you have rights and some obligations, but you are not going to be out of that home in just 6 months, and you don't have to be out of the home the day after. No one's going to be able to come in and throw your stuff in the street. You have rights and obligations. If you're facing a point today or in the near future where you can't afford that payment or no longer makes sense, and you find yourself owing more than that home is worth, then you need to call us at the Mortgage Mediation Group so we can sit down with you and discuss your legal rights and your obligations so you understand how your plan would work. Remember, the key word is strategic, not accidental default. Let's get a strategy together so you can take care of your family.